This is the 2023 Chicago Auto Show. Hello and welcome to EV Motoring. And today I'm here at the 2023 Chicago Auto Show. I'm going to take you for a walk around and show you everything there is to see. So as I mentioned, we're here at the auto show. Not sure why there was a jet there, but I figured what an opportunity to start the video. So like I said, we're going to walk around. We're here at Kia. We kind of skipped over Honda and Lexus. There is a Lexus RZ 450 here, but it's really just the Toyota BZ4X, Subaru Solterra, similar vehicle. We've kind of seen it before. But we're here at Kia. We've taken a look at the Kia EV6 before. We've driven it, love it. It's a great vehicle. A little over 300 miles of range in the rear-wheel drive variant. And I think it's around 270 miles of range in the all-wheel drive. This is the GT though. This is my first time seeing a GT in person. It's the spicy one. It's got the suede interior, although I would bet it's vegan. Lots of green stitching. Love that. Big giant green brakes. We're not going to spend too much time on each vehicle. We're just going to kind of blitz through, but stay tuned for more full videos of each of these cars, and definitely check out the channel for full drives, walkarounds, everything that we've done with these last year. In the back, there's a Kia Niro. It's the new refreshed one. Niro is a little bit more budget friendly than the EV6, a little bit smaller too. It's considered a subcompact, but it's really on the edge of almost being a compact SUV at this point. But now we'll hop over to GMC and see what they have to show. We have some classic cars in the back here. I think this is new for this year. I don't remember seeing all this classic car collection here in years prior. But we'll hop over here to GMC and check out the new Hummer. I did a little bit of a walk around with it last year. An outstanding vehicle, just showing like everything that electric can be from, just absurd amounts of range because it has just a massive battery. It is certainly one of the least efficient, if not the least efficient electric vehicle made. But let's hop back here and take a look at it. So with the Hummer EV, we have 350 miles of range. The reason that's a little bit less than the Silverado and Sierra EV is because of these meaty tires. These cost about 50 miles of range, having tires like this. It's still the same 200 kilowatt hour battery pack, 350 kilowatt peak charging, which ends up being huge for road tripping. If you get complementary charging, that's the key here, because a DC charge of a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack will cost over $80 if you had to charge it to full at a Electrify America charger. But if you get the complementary charging, it actually ends up being a great road trip machine because it charges so fast that despite the inefficiencies, it recovers power really fast. 100 miles of range in about 10 minutes. Now we'll take a walk over to Buick. They have this is the Buick Wildcat concept. Pretty interesting how the roof pops up when the doors open. It's a concept vehicle, so I typically don't do too much to show these, but great to see Buick getting in the electric game. Makes sense because Chevy is working to electrify all of their brands. And interesting to see the first takes of what Buick is picturing here to be their next vehicle. Now over here we have the supercar garage. I do not believe there's anything electric in here, even though Rolls-Royce does have an electric vehicle coming, which if there ever was a brand to electrify, it's Rolls-Royce. I mean, their whole brand is based on being quiet and comfortable, and that's what electric vehicles are. So it'll be interesting to see that Rolls when it finally does come to market. I know it's going to be, like all Rolls, very low production, but still great to see them joining the game. Some McLarens right here. Bunch of beautiful cars. The debut of the Lamborghini Countach is here as well. Right here is Volkswagen. If you're familiar with our channel, ID.4 is what started it all. We can take a quick look at the Chattanooga version, which they have here, which is interesting to see some of the design changes that have occurred when switching to American production. What's great about this is being produced in Chattanooga gets the $7,500 tax credit for this vehicle, and so that makes it one of the best bargains of electric vehicles, because if you get the small battery at $37,500 plus the tax credit, you're down to $30,000, 3 years of unlimited 30-minute charging with the Electrify America network. So again, great bargain. This is the Pro S model, so it has a few more options than the base. So this is around the mid-40s, pretty similar spec to what I had. But what's interesting is the center console. This used to just have armrests, kind of like a, more of the Euro styling, like an old Mercedes van. But now they have in the Americanizing of this car, put a full console in. I'm not sure that I'm sold which way I like more, but it's interesting to see the changes made. Still get the memory on the passenger seat, so nice to see that didn't go away while bringing the car here. It made sense to have power and memory seats on both sides when it was being produced in Europe, since the steering wheel goes on both sides. Another change is the illuminated badge on the back. So that wasn't there on mine. Mine was just a white plastic badge on the back that said VW. So they've added that. Of course, I've always had the illuminated badge on the front. Mine didn't have for the first edition, but everything since then has had the illuminated badge, which I think looks pretty good. It's pretty good front end. Nothing crazy on the styling of the ID.4. That's why I loved it. It was a great first electric car for me. And for most people, I think it's a great electric vehicle because it drives like a gas car. It still has creep built in. Still, braking and accelerating will drive exactly like the RAV4 or CRV or whatever vehicle, or Tiguan, whatever you're getting out of. So it certainly is worth checking out if you're not 100% sold on the full, regenerative braking and, drive the way that other typical electric vehicles drive. This one is certainly worth checking out. A couple more ID.4s here. This is the all-wheel drive Pro S. And up front here, we have another all-wheel drive Pro S. So now we'll jump up to Chevy. On the way, we'll swing by Hyundai here. Here's the Ioniq 5. They're doing a little bit of a test track here to show some of the capabilities of riding around in the Ioniq 5. It's actually one of my favorite vehicles. Before I bought the Polestar, I was actually actively searching pretty hard trying to get a Ioniq 5. I could not find one for less than $5,000 over sticker. And I was in a hurry to get a vehicle very fast. So Polestar had a car in stock at MSRP is the way Polestar deals. So that worked out for me. But I definitely cannot recommend the Ioniq 5 enough. It's a beautiful vehicle. And actually, we should have the Ioniq 6 over here. So let's pop through here. This is my first time walking around, so you're joining me through the learning curve of the way the show is designed this year. But hopefully there's an Ioniq 6 over here, because that's the new redesigned one. It's the new car version of the Ioniq 5. You may have seen the commercials with Kevin Bacon and his daughter. Pretty cool. I think those might make their way into the Super Bowl. And yep, right around the corner, we have the extremely slippery Ioniq 6. Hoping we don't get copyrighted on the music coming through the speakers. So what's great about the Ioniq 6 is the increased efficiency of the shape results in incredible range, 361 miles of EPA rated range, same motors and battery out of the Ioniq 5, so you're going to get that 240 kilowatt DC charging. Price point is right around the mid 40s, so very, right in line with the Ioniq 5 as well. So if you'd rather have a car instead of the hatchback crossover SUV the Ioniq 5 is, the Ioniq 6 might be the one for you. We're here on Media Day, so there's a lot of press events going on of, them describing all the vehicles for all the media outlets. So we'll try to bounce around from display to display while we can. So now we'll pop over to Chevrolet, take a look at their electric vehicles. So here's a couple Trailblazers, not electric, but I want you to pay attention to the way they look, their styling. When we get over the Bolt EUV, I think it looks very similar. I like the way that they used that design language when they were doing the more SUV styled Bolt that just recently came out. Again, apologize for some of the noise. Pretty busy here today. Here's the Blazer. This is actually one of my favorite electric vehicles coming out. This is supposed to be out end of summer, early fall. 320 miles of range in the RS rear-wheel drive variant. I have a full walk-around video of this that'll be coming out. Great vehicle. Very interesting about this is it's a mid-size SUV, so we don't really have many of those. We got the ID.4, the Ioniq 5, the Equinox back here that is a compact SUV. This mid-size certainly is going to hit a little bit different market. If you got a family, you're going to appreciate that legroom, especially if it's more of a grown-up family. You're going to appreciate all the extra room that the Blazer has to offer. But the Blazer is going to be about $45,000, whereas the Equinox back here is only going to be $30,000, and as you max it out, we'll get up to $44,000. So, you know, if price is certainly an important factor in your vehicle decision, the Equinox might be the one. At only $30,000 starting price, you're getting about 250 miles of range and great usability with the new Ultium battery system that Chevy uses. You're going to get the better charging. So about 70 miles of range in about 10 minutes, I think was the number I saw. So this is the RS, so a little bit more loaded up. You know, so this is going to get the 11-inch gauge cluster and 17-inch infotainment. Normally it would be two 11-inch screens would be the base model. Doing that 11-inch gauge cluster with a 17-inch infotainment, that's the same as what the Blazer has, as well as the Silverado right over here. So the Silverado, same chassis as the Hummer and Sierra EV. So this, though, with the more efficient tires, 400 miles of range, 200 kilowatt hour battery, 350 kilowatt peak charging, 100 miles of range in about 10 minutes. So super a road trip machine because of the charging curve on this vehicle. And then interesting thing when I showed the walk around last year is this pass-through. So, you know, that's been the way that they've been able to adapt to, you know, having a smaller bed because a lot of these trucks are built on crew cabs. Having this mid-gate fold down allows you to put bigger cargo in when you need to in a pinch. And last but not least, over here we have the Bolts. So as I mentioned about the Trailblazer, we have the Bolt EUV here, which has a lot of that design language, which I'm a big fan of. I like the way the Bolt EUV looks, definitely a little bit more than the regular Bolt. I think it has a little bit more road presence, has a little bit more SUV kind of styling that I think is kind of just works in the market. Thing to notice about this vehicle, very small, it's a subcompact SUV. And the other thing to notice is the charging curve, just 55 kilowatt charging speed. Certainly hurts the vehicle on road trips, but if you're looking for just an excellent around town vehicle, at $27,000 for this Bolt EUV, take a tax credit off of that, at least at the time of filming this, you're down to $19,000 and some change. Here in Illinois, we get another $4,000 off. So you're at $16,000 for a 250 mile range, you know, little crossover, run around town EUV. All right. And then right over here is the Bolt. You know, same statistics. Because of the smaller shape, gets about 10 miles more range. But it's getting pretty loud over here, so we're going to hop over to the other side of the floor and we'll show off what Ford, BMW, Cadillac, and Stellantis have to offer. So it was getting loud over there, jumped over to the other side here. 2 sides in the auto show this year, so much bigger floor presence, a lot more vehicles to see, so make sure you get here early if you want to see everything, because I don't even think it's possible in one day. We got a Bronco Everglades right here. Can't wait for them to electrify it. You know, I'm a fan of the Wrangler, but I like the styling of a Bronco more, so when there's an electric Bronco, it'll be at the top of my list. But now we'll hop down the walkway here. We have Toyota here. All they really have is the BZ4X. There's the new Prius and stuff like that, but I typically don't cover the plug-in hybrids or hybrids on the channel. I've asked you out there, and both listeners said that they don't want to hear about hybrids or plug-in hybrids, so that's what you get. But we'll go down this row. We have the Ford Maverick pickup truck, which is a hybrid. But then next to that, we get into the Lightning, and then into the Mustang Mach-E's. So as I mentioned, you know, Toyota has the BZ4X, which we showed last year. No new changes for them. They obviously had that recall you might be familiar with the wheel hub issue, but that has since been remedied, and they're starting to deliver BZ4Xs again. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a compromised vehicle due to the lack of range and charging. It's a slower charging curve for sure. But we have the Ford Lightning here. Ton of content coming out about this. We have a walk around we've done of this, as well as a test drive. Love the Lightning. I was on the list for quite a while trying to get a hold of one, but when dealers started taking advantage of people, that's when I lose interest in that vehicle. Mach-E here is a great success. It's one of the top 5 selling electric vehicles in the country right now. So, you know, it's been a huge hit for Ford. I think it looks great. Ton of room. One of the quirks about it is these door handles. It's the button. So it's kind of a two-handed motion that you have to grab and push to open. A little bit quirky, but, you know, if it's not quirky, it's not electric, right? And then back here, there's no handle, so we're supposed to reach in here, which kids are always taught, never put your hand in here. Thing is, there's a bumper down there preventing it from being shut, so you won't get your hands slammed. But the Mach-E is a great vehicle. Can go up to about 305 miles of range if you get the California Route 1 edition. Prices are right around the mid-40s. It just got reclassified as an SUV. It was originally classified as a car, which means it now has an $80,000 cap as far as the EV tax credit goes. So you can get $7,500 off for the next couple months if you're interested in a Mach-E. Katie's behind the camera today, and she's drifting to the dark horse because that's her interest. Be interesting to see when they actually electrify the real Mustang, not this crossover SUV that they called a Mustang. But it was a marketing device that actually worked out pretty well because the sales show that it worked. But this is the new 2024, I think it's 2024 Dark Horse Mustang. The regular 2023 is back there. Up ahead here, we'll have a Ford E-Transit, I believe, will be here. And then we just have some of the more traditional F-150s. Again, as I mentioned earlier, feel free to check out the channel. There's a lot of walkarounds and videos that I've done with most of all of these vehicles. So I'm trying to just make this quick and just walk around before getting too detailed into each of them. We do have the Nissan Ariya right up here. People have been waiting on this for a long time. Their E-Force all-wheel drive is really their claim to fame that they think is going to be an outstanding performance. They're finally supposed to be getting delivered here pretty soon. By the time you see this, it might already, deliveries might already be happening. About 300 miles of range. In my opinion, nothing too wowing about this, just kind of meeting the status quo of being, around $50,000, around 300 miles of range. It's kind of been the way things have been going for a while for electric vehicles. We're looking to get to that next level where we can get over 300 miles of range or a better charging curve. This vehicle, that Ariya charges at about 30 to 40 minutes for a charging session. We want to get down to those 10 to 15 minute charging sessions to really be able to cannonball across the country. We're here at Stellantis, which, even though they don't have an electric vehicle right now, they have a bunch of concepts that are supposed to be coming here, over the next couple of years. We have the 2025 Airflow concept. So this is the Chrysler electric vehicle that I really am not too familiar with. This is actually my first time seeing it. I do think it looks pretty good. I like the bronze touches. Every vehicle has to be a little bit different because so many electric vehicles are going to drive so similar. We need to have design cues and things like that are going to differentiate each brand to show people what they, to give people that uniqueness that they're looking for. 400 miles of range is estimated from this. See the screens that are on the back seats, so it's aiming towards that family friendly of having a bunch of screens up front for the passenger and driver for their information, and then some information in the back for the passengers. I think it looks pretty good. I hope this Airflow lit up badge makes it to market when they do produce the vehicle. Right here's the Pacifica plug-in hybrid. Again, don't really show plug-in hybrids too much on the channel, but it is at this point, the only minivan with a plug. So until the Volkswagen ID Buzz makes it here, when it makes it here, this is the minivan if you want a plug. Where they stuff the batteries is actually, if you're familiar with stow and go, where the seats normally fold into the floor, they have the batteries down in front of that second row. So no stow and go if you're getting the plug-in hybrid. Here's the new Dodge Hornet, another plug-in hybrid that is actually going to be produced in Italy, surprisingly. And then here we have the Dodge Charger SRT Daytona concept. I invite you to take a look at some of the videos out there on this vehicle just to hear what it sounds like. So another way to try to differentiate yourself is, so many electric vehicles, they're obviously all quiet. Well, here with performance, we want to make sure that there's, a little bit of noise or something to, show the vehicle you're driving. If you're driving this SRT right here, you're going to want it to make a little bit of noise, have a little more road presence. And I think it's a pretty cool rendition of what they envision for their future of Dodge performance. and a really cool red glow across the interior of the vehicle. Lots of ambient lighting all around. Really hope that makes it to production. I think that's a great look. The tint on the windows is killing the camera, I know. Apologize for that, but we do have the new Demon logo right there. Love that. And then actually, we'll jump back here to the Ram finally making it to the EV game. So we've done some content with the Ford F-150 Lightning, and we've shown some walkarounds of the Silverado and Hummer, and the Sierra EV is just really same vehicle, just with a little bit different styling. But back here in the corner, we have the Ram Evolution. So still concept, so we don't know exactly what it is going to be when it does get to market here in the next few years. But there's some interesting features that we certainly hope make it to market. One, as soon as we show up to the front here, take a look at how there's a pass-through that goes all the way to the back of the vehicle. This allows you to take an 18-foot, crown molding or whatever you're buying from Home Depot, and it'll fit in the vehicle from head to toe. So pretty nifty feature there. We can see that there's a power panel, like all the trucks are doing, which is a great idea to be able to power your tools, charge a battery on the way to the job site, and then cup holders because we got to go front gating. But there's no more tailgating, we got to go front gating. But we'll walk around this way, see the design language to really just show off how massive this vehicle is. The Ram logo lit up, certainly hope that makes it to market. Great little design touch right there. But the length of this vehicle is, it's huge. And that's because it has 3-row seating on the inside, which we'll show in a minute. We'll come back around to the back and show the bed. It's a 5-foot 11-inch bed in the back. So, and you can see it has the Ram split tailgate, so it can open out or down up there. See with the seating configuration here, these seats are on a track system, so they can roll forward, and there's little jump seats in the back that can fold down. So you can actually fit 6 people here in this full-size truck. So that's why it is such a stretched cab, to be able to fit all these people in here, but something unique because there really is not a truck that can do that. And what's interesting here is, at least in the initial design language, they're going with more of a Tesla-style screen of one screen to have all of your information, although that does look like they're going to have a heads-up display to display speed and some important information on the window. Another old Dodge design feature that kind of makes its way back into this truck is you might remember the old Dodge Dakotas of the day that had these split doors like this, so there's no B-pillar. I'm not sure if that'll work with current crash test standards, but if they're able to make it this way, certainly makes it much easier to get in and out of the vehicle. And looks like some pretty efficient rims there, and some very beefy tires that I'm sure will end up making it to the final design. But now we're going to jump over to Cadillac, which is way over there. So through some time travel, we'll be there now. So through time travel, we're over here now at the new part of the Chicago Auto Show. This is the Drive Electric Test Track. So we have the BMW i7 here, which I did a full walk around of, so definitely check that out. Rivals the Mercedes EQS. Definitely has more of that new boxier styling that I prefer. That BMW is doing, whereas the EQS is very smooth and slippery, but design is always subjective. But certainly check out the i7 if you're interested in a luxury sedan. We have the iX here, which I did a bunch of drives with when I was out at the M driving event that they had me out at, where I got to drive an X5 back-to-back with the iX. So the iX here has about 300 miles of range. Okay, so this is the xDrive 50, 300 miles of range. Great road tripper, around 200 kilowatt peak charging. Still has the same crystal shifters and stuff like the i7 has. A very, very comfortable place to be. Same big screen that the i7 has, shares with this vehicle. And if you're looking for a luxury SUV, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's much better priced than the Mercedes EQB, something like that is their crossover. I think the iX is a little bit better. The only flaw of the iX is the front end. Representative from BMW was over there. We didn't want to say it in front of him, but he knows it's true too. We're going to go over here to Cadillac and wrap it up. part of this Drive Electric event they have here. They have the BMW i7 and iX. They got the Volkswagen ID.4, because that's a great vehicle to put everyone in, especially with the budget perspective that it has. We've got Chevy Bolts over here, which is also great at the $26,000 price point that it is at the time of filming this. Excellent vehicle. And then we have GM's luxury vehicle, the Cadillac Lyriq. My first time actually seeing it, so great to see it in person. Great to sit inside it, go take it for a little, go sit in it for a lap around here. Gives you a chance to sit in the vehicle and while it's on the road and hear how quiet electric vehicles just are. My cousin's actually quite interested in these. You might have seen him in the Polestar road trip when I picked up the vehicle. He rode along to head home from Louisville, but he put his money down on a Lyriq. He can't wait for it. And they just reclassed it as an SUV, so it now qualifies for the tax credit as well, which is great because the starting price was in the upper 50s to low 60s. So it was over the $55,000 limit for a car. So they can still get the tax credit with the Lyriq, 300 miles of range, great charging, all-to-in battery package, so, very similar to what the Blazer has. So that was a quick walk around of the 2023 Chicago Auto Show, highlighting a bunch of the electric vehicles here. There still is Subaru and BMW over there. The BMWs over there are not the electric ones. Subaru, I believe, has a Solterra on display, but we've shown that last year. It's questionably a compromised vehicle from them, just in the charging profile, and it's really the same as the BZ4X that Toyota built, since Toyota builds that on behalf of Subaru. So if you found this content helpful, please do like the video, stay tuned and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of our upcoming content from the 2023 Chicago Auto Show, as well as more EV road trips and more test drives coming. And take care until next time.